Hello, I'm Dave Archer with another Northern Idaho fishing trip that I want to share with you, this being the Lochsa River. Now, first of all, I want to tell you that when you go to the Lochsa River from the Spokane area, in that case, Spokane Valley, all the way up to the beginning of the Lochsa River, around the Powell Ranger Station, it's about a 4.5 hour drive. So you're taking the interstate from Spokane to Missoula, Montana, and then just around the corner is Lolo, and then that's Highway 12. So from Lolo to the area that's best fishing is about an hour's drive. So you're gonna, before you get to the Idaho border, you're going to pass Lolo Hot Springs, and Lolo Creek, it's not worth fishing. It's mostly all private property, but a nice break as you go into fishing is maybe to stop at the Lolo Hot Springs, which is about 24 miles from Lolo. So I went to meet my sons in the Missoula area, and then we drove up Highway 12 to the Lochsa River, and I fished with them, my two sons and my granddaughter, for a day, and then they left and went back to Florence, and I continued on exploring the Lochsa River all the way down through Lowell to where the confluence is with the Selway River. Now, I left a message at the very end of this tape that I need to back up and correct. I didn't fish the Selway River. I made a few attempts, and I found that I was just doing too much slipping and sliding and felt too uncomfortable out there. But I talked to an outfitter. He's a whitewater outfitter, and he said they do guided fishing trips, but in the fall when it's cooler. So that's my cue to talk about the heat and work that into this video. Now, when I got down to the Selway, which is probably about 60 miles downstream from the top of the border with Idaho and Montana at the Powell Ranger Station, it got hot. In fact, when I'm sitting in the campgrounds, it was quite warm. And I talked to the outfitter, fishing outfitter, or whitewater outfitter, and he said that it just gets too hot during the day, during the summer, and lots of kayaks. Oh my goodness, lots of kayaks and tubers. And he said it just makes for tough fishing. It's gorgeous. The water is absolutely gorgeous. So I wanted to squeeze that in. Now, if you're going to fish the Lochsa in midsummer, my recommendation is find a campground, fish in the morning and fish in the evening, because even at the top end up there at Jerry Johnson Hot Springs, the Warm Springs area where we fished, it's still hot during the middle of the day. So if you're going to fish with a dry fly, I recommend you wait until the evening, and you will find a stunning difference. Nonetheless, my sons proved that with a dry fly in the middle of the day, they could catch fish up there in the Lochsa. All right, what else do I need to clarify? Yes, you can get up to the Lochsa going through the Orofino area, Lewistown, from the Spokane area, but it's a long drive. So I need to tell you that from the confluence upstream, the road is about 19 miles. There's about, I'm guessing from my memory, about 4 or 5 campgrounds, but the road comes to an end, and that's where the Selway wilderness float trips drop in after the falls. And that in itself, you've probably seen a lot of whitewater rafting videos on YouTube of the Selway River. And what they do is they launch, you have to have permits, and they launch from the Darby area. They go over the pass into the Idaho area from Darby. And it's also a float of about, 60 miles. And it's really rough in the early summer, spring. So the 19 miles that is left to drive-in fishermen, the first, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles, it's really flat water. It's really broad. And then you'll see in the video when I get to a campground and start exploring further up, it narrows down and looks like some beautiful water. But hold it for the fall. All right, well, let's get started with fishing the Lochsa River. Well, the pullouts aren't frequent, but there's enough of them. And when you see a gorgeous run like this, boy, some beautiful water. There you go. Ike, no. Ike, no. Ike, no. Oh, shit. I'm in trouble now. Ike, come on. All right. Fish on. 3 generations of fly fishers. Darren. And Brandon's got one on. All right, we got a double. And the 3rd generation is Lana, my granddaughter.
I don't know, just a bunch of dinks, I guess.
There were lots of fish.
This says the bridge. There's Warm Springs Creek. Let's go up the creek.
Yeah, the creek.
Well, I think today is July 8th, right after the holidays. Pretty empty. Well, Yogi Berra said, if you come to a fork in the road, take it. So my advice is, if you come to a fork and one of them is dirt road, take it. There's some nice access points above highway marker 147. In fact, the Colgate campground, which is between 146 and 147, isn't even marked as a campground. Beautiful spot, but noisy from the lumber trucks right above you. At any rate, onwards to the next spot. Okay, this is one of those treasured spots in America, primitive camping, where the concessionaires, I should say the damn concessionaires, don't charge you an exorbitant fee for camping. I seriously mean it when I say these are treasured spots. So I've got a spot all by myself. The door's in the way. There's a fire ring, and I have access right down to the river. I'll take you there. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Now the highway admittedly is just right above us, but nonetheless, and there's a trail that goes down the stream. Very nice. Well, the van life is kind of wearing me out. Last night I hid from the concessionaires and had a pretty good night's sleep, but Buddy had to crawl underneath my sleeping bag, and he's 80-pound Chesapeake. But we're ready to go and see more of the Lochsa River on our way down to Lowell, which is just a few miles ahead. Darn, I was hoping to get breakfast here. But it's closed. Gee, I wonder if anybody left any change in there. Now, when I was a kid, you always went up there and pushed the little lever, and every once in a while, somebody would leave some change. I'm laughing to myself. Sorry, it's my age. Well, I'm just a mile down below Lowell, and this is the access to the Selway River, and this is the confluence where the Selway joins the Lochsa. Looks like I'll be able to get breakfast after all, and head up to Selway. The Selway River, one of the campgrounds, I forgot the name of it. Early, as I drove up the Selway, it was very shallow and very wide. Now it's narrowing down and offering some good riffles and runs, such as this one right here. All right, here I am on the Selway with Ike, my trusty canine companion, and I've just had a few thoughts I'd like to share. And it's from an old man's perspective, having reached 80. And I started reflecting on this trip, my life as a fisherman, and all the loss and degradation I've seen on streams, and of course my beloved Bitterroot Valley river, the Bitterroot, and what it's gone through in the last 20, 30, 40 years. And so it saddens me, and I get, yeah, I know, if you don't have patience for old men talking about the past and what it used to be like, move forward on this tape. But my perspective is shifting a little bit today, and I'm thinking about, I always thought when I was a young man that I missed the good old days. And as the years go by, I've reflected on that, and I realize, oh my gosh, no, I saw the good old days. I saw the good old days in Montana when the Bitterroot was in its prime, before whirling disease and before dewatering all the creeks, before climate change, low snowpacks. Oh, the whole routine, which you, as a fisherman, you're well aware. But what I want to share with you is that if you want to find your good old days, you head for Northern Idaho. And I'm telling you, the Lochsa, and now I haven't fished the Selway. This is my first time I'm driving up looking at it. I'll fish it sometime in the afternoon. Of course, these videos, as you know, if you've seen the others, they don't cover a lot of fishing because I can't afford a GoPro and all the fancy gadgets. So I try to just give an overview of the camping and the fishing and the scenery, and that's been my goal. Selway is beautiful. The campgrounds are right on the road, but that's okay. And I just talked to a young conservationist, and he said it fishes really well. So if you're young and you want to head out west, or from any direction, come to the Lochsa or St. Joe, the North Fork of the Clearwater River. You're going to be in for some fun fishing. And I'm telling you, the Lochsa River, oh my gosh, if you're willing to scramble down boulders and get down on the pools and the runs, you're going to be in for a big surprise. It's loaded with cutthroats, and I can attest to that because yesterday, and I don't have no idea where I'll edit it in, but yesterday I was on the upper Lochsa River, having coming up from Lolo, Montana, on Highway 12 with my 2 adult sons and my 10-year-old granddaughter. We stopped in the Jerry Johnson Hot Springs, Warm Springs area and fished there, and my sons caught some nice fish, and this was hot, midday, dry flies, and I told them that 30, 40 years ago I used to come up here and on the Lochsa and catch a lot of nice 16-inchers. Well, judging from what I could see, both of my boys caught at least a 14-incher, and in just one spot. And then my granddaughter went on to, she said, catch 10 little fish on the little adjacent creek that runs out of the Jerry Johnson Hot Springs. So get up here, find your good old days, because let's face it, so many areas are degraded now and the good old days are past. So enjoy yourself in Northern Idaho.